My name is Davina, Dr. Davina Soernssen. I am here at the MedSpa Clinical Edge, and we're going to share with you a tremendous story from a good friend of mine named Brian Cummings. You'd be surprised how many people like Brian are out there that just think some of the symptoms that they felt are almost normal or a part of the aging process. Just because someone is aging doesn't mean they have to feel aches and pains and bloating and brain fog and fatigue. In fact, it shouldn't be like that at all. We should feel just as good at 70 as we do at 30. In fact, one of the biomarkers we often measure, even in traditional medicine, called an ANA, that will tell you if you have some sort of autoimmune disease in normal aging process will eventually go up. In fact, it stands for the anti-nuclear antibody. In other words, your body's starting to make antibodies against itself. And that is because of the exosome or the exposome, right? All of the environmental factors that our body is being bombarded with, and internal factors and things that we put inside of our body that's just getting ignited. Our body doesn't like it, it doesn't want it, it can't detoxify against it, and so it spills over into this autoimmune spectrum disorder. And now, here's our conversation with Brian Cummings. Brian, thank you so much for doing this. This is brave, right? But I think it's going to help a lot of other people to explain what happened to you, your before, your after. It's pretty incredible for me to be able to share your story with you since you've shared it already on the internet. So I hope you don't mind. I've been sharing a bit. Without even mentioning your name, I say that I know a man that literally had hearing loss and it's restored.
Yes.
So, I mean, take us back to your diagnosis, if you would, at the ENT doctor.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my story, and just hopefully I can give back a little bit and somebody can take away from this to help their current situation.
Yeah.
But for me, it started probably about 7 years ago. And it presented itself initially as I had bouts of vertigo. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, and I didn't think much of it. Well, I thought something of it at the time, just because vertigo is very uncomfortable. But they were just short little moments for like an hour or so. And usually I noticed on my left side that I had a lot of tension and tinnitus, and almost like a muffled, like I had water in my ear type
Tinnitus is
feel.
ringing in the ear, right? For those that might not know what it is.
Tinnitus, like some people pronounce it differently.
Yeah.
But that was something that kind of just went away. And then it didn't bother me for a couple of years until it presented itself again, where I was getting that fullness feeling in the ear. I was getting almost like a numbness and almost like clawing at the side of my face type feeling. And with that, I also noticed that kind of with the pressure, a muffled hearing. And so I decided to see an ENT for it. Because I did fail a hearing test I'm a retired Air Force pilot. So at the time I was in the Air Force.
Wow.
And I failed a hearing test with them. And all they wanted to do was just basically go back and reset my baseline for my hearing and not really explore the issue. They said it was noise exposure, but it didn't make sense having asymmetric hearing loss where that one ear.
You're right. That doesn't make sense.
Lost some hearing. So.
And you're not even a doctor, and you knew that.
I'm not. Right. So I went to an ENT on my own, and right away they took me in and they ran a CAT scan on just to make sure there weren't structural issues. There wasn't a tumor. There was something
that must have been
physically
scary.
wrong. Well, it was a little bit. And my wife Rebecca, with a little bit of a medical background, she was very concerned when they said that too. So went through the CAT scan, actually proceeded on to an MRI as well, and they found nothing structurally wrong with my ear. The only thing they did notice was that the trigeminal nerve running up to the ear was inflamed. So they put me on a course of prednisone, which is basically a steroid to try to stop that inflammation process. At least this is from what I understand.
Corticosteroid.
Yeah. And so I did the 10-day course, I believe it was, of prednisone.
Yeah. Powerful immune suppressant.
And it didn't do anything for me, honestly. So it was frustrating. And this is after multiple visits to that ENT they decided to send me off to an ear specialist in Philadelphia.
Oh, so not even just an ENT physician,
but an actual, I can't even pronounce the doctor, you know, what the specialist.
Some sort of audiology specialty? Trigeminal nerve specialty, maybe?
No, it was an ear doctor, yeah. Okay. But anyway, I went to Philadelphia to see him, and he agreed that the inflammation in the trigeminal nerve probably had something to do with my hearing loss. So they put me on a long-term dose of
dexamethasone. I remember that.
It was like 30 days long, and that was to stop any autoimmune issues.
I remember that. That's a little bit different than prednisone, and it helps cross the blood-brain barrier a little bit better. So did that work at all?
It didn't work at all. I still had the muffled feeling. I still had the hearing loss, and the way he explained it to me is what the hearing loss was that I had was permanent. So the damage was done, but at least the autoimmune process had stopped. And that was kind of the way life was going to be. And so I went with that for probably a year or two. And then I decided to go see another ENT because it just didn't make sense to me. Right. I was too young, too healthy, too active to have something like this going on. So I saw another ENT, and pretty much she gave me the same diagnosis and said, what hearing loss you have is what you're stuck with. And she recommended I go see another audiologist to get fitted for a hearing aid. So.
And how much loss did you have at that time?
So at that point, and that's why I went to see another ENT, because the hearing loss did slowly continue.
It got worse.
When I realized when I was having conversations with people, I would have to sit on the opposite side just to be able to hear them with my right ear. And then we're not sitting that way because of this.
Right.
But if I was sitting on somebody's right side, I couldn't hear what they were saying. And then my wife, Rebecca, she started pointing out to me that she would call me from the other room and I wouldn't answer. Oh, and there were times when my kids would call me and I couldn't hear them. Thankfully, with my job, I'm an airline pilot now for a major airline. I wear a headset, which allows me to turn up the volume on one side and help balance things out. And that was really the only relief I had from the tinnitus, is when I could do that, crank up the volume on one side. And
because it overpowered that ringing?
Because it overpowered the ringing and it filled the gap, and it balanced things out.
Now, were you in your hearing aid at this time?
Not at this time, but the hearing loss did get worse. And when I'm pre-flighting in an aircraft, we don't wear the headset at that time. So the captain at the time sits on my left side during the pre-flight. Sometimes he would say something.
Wow.
So that's when I really started to realize that I needed to fix the issue, and I proceeded forward with the hearing aid.
Oh, wow.
And that really, that helped. It helped drown out the tinnitus. They were able to adjust the frequencies just right to the ones that I had lost and fill those voids. Problem is, at night I take off the hearing aid and then the tinnitus comes in.
We come right back.
Yeah.
So it was gone while you had the hearing aid on?
It did. It helped. Most of it was gone. But
did you feel like sleeping with it all night for that reason?
No, because it is uncomfortable still. It's in there. And two, it's for sanitary reasons, it's good to take it out and let it clean itself off.
Okay.
I did actually end up with an ear infection at one point in the ear canal from the hearing aid, which was very painful. The hearing aid, it was filling the void a little bit, but it really, it was not a comfortable life.
Did they associate, or did you, I should say, associate any other symptoms that you might have been having with the
No. So while this was all going on, I mean, I was not sleeping well. I don't know if it was the tinnitus or the, just the ringing in the ear, the pressure, the clawing at times. I mean, still, that stuff still exists. And
pressure? Yeah,
the pressure in the ear, the fullness in the ear.
Yeah.
That never went away with the hearing aid.
Okay, so we have more work to do. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, no, it's gone now.
Oh,
it's all gone now.
Wow.
But at the time, that was still there, even with the hearing aid.
Okay.
And there were times when I noticed that the symptoms got worse, the tinnitus got worse, whenever I would drink caffeine, drink alcohol.
Yeah.
If I didn't get a good night's sleep, my circadian rhythm was.
Well, that makes sense, because alcohol is a neurotoxin, and so all your nerves are going to be irritated from a neurotoxin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pilot lifestyle, not eating healthy on the road. So I think that was contributing.
You get what you get
well.
on the road. I mean, that's very difficult. How do you maintain such a great diet now?
Well, it takes a lot of discipline, and thankfully with the guidance that you provided me on what foods to focus on, what foods to avoid, and the big ones being avoiding the processed foods, avoiding sugars, avoiding alcohol. Caffeine I'm still working on, but and the seed oils. Seed oils are terrible.
They really are. And they're all over.
And they're all over.
And in everything. And when you go out to a meal, you think you're getting, olive oil, but they'll cut it with seed oil just to save some money.
Yes. Yeah. So it's everywhere. You go grocery shopping, even in Whole Foods. I
remember myself when I had canola oil on top of popcorn years ago, how achy my body felt in the morning.
Yes.
And when I ripped that Band-Aid off, it was an eye-opener for me. And that's when I started avoiding seed oils altogether. Because I'm sure there's some safe ones out there. They're probably pressed. They're probably organic. They're not chemically altered. But it's just not worth it for me to even, so not when there's olive oil and avocado oil that, is available, readily available.
Yes.
And they're so high in polyphenols and fat anyway. So when I first heard about your ringing in the ear, I was concerned too. Mm-hmm. I really wasn't into this space as much then. I was definitely into holistic practice, but working on fixing myself at the time. So I don't even think I knew enough to be able to help you at that time. But once you were in a hearing aid, I was like, wow, I think we got this. Like I fixed this is going to work, because it's all connected. The gut brain is connected. The gut vagus nerve is connected. And when I realized how connected the vagus nerve is, and all of the branches that there are and the irritation that comes along with it when there's germs in your gut, literally hijacking it and making it irritated, I was like, well, I fixed this person with vasovagal syndrome. There's no reason why Brian can't be fixed. And it's not just me. Let me be clear. It's not me fixing anybody. It's the process, right? The process that I learned through functional medicine. So when we first met, I said, Brian, we have to get your poop. Right? we have got to test your gut. And
I remember that at the bus stop. We were at the bus stop with the kids, and you said that to me, and I was like, well,
trust me.
That was random. Okay.
Yeah. Trust me. But wow, the information that it provided, all of those germs were clinically.
Yes.
You had small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I didn't even do that test for you. I don't know if you're aware of that. We didn't give you the breath test because clinically you had bloating. You had the brain fog, you had the fatigue, and you had the joint pain in the morning.
Yes, right? I had all that. Looking back at it now, it was IBS. I was eating all the time, and I was still hungry all the time. Probably the sugars.
And flip-flopping
and it was
between
just all
diarrhea
going right through me.
and constipation.
Yes.
Yeah.
My joints, I'm a big runner, and I had stopped running because I had knee pain, I had ankle pains. I woke up every morning and I felt like I had acid running through my veins.
And then the
brain
and that's
fog,
the way I feel. So I felt. So I can appreciate exactly how you felt.
Didn't. So there were mornings, some mornings I just did not want to even get up.
Same.
And now I'm like, I feel like I'm about to turn 50, and I feel like I'm like going on 30. I feel like I have all kinds of energy. I'm excited to get up. So yes.
I couldn't even get out of bed for like 2 hours. It took me so long to move around. My hands hurt, my feet hurt. I felt like somebody would just beat me up by a bat, like with a bat. And I would have one drink, one alcoholic drink, and I was already drunk. And I felt like this was such a waste. Like I couldn't even lick a sip of alcohol. That's how much it affected me.
Wow.
And some other foods too.
Yes.
I noticed I really was bloated and everything. So clinically, you had SIBO. We didn't need to do that test. But what I needed to know was what germs were in there. Did you have enough of the good ones like Akkermansia? And it turned out that you had some bad germs in there that were sneaking their way up to the small intestine called SIBO. And you also had very low Akkermansia.
Yes.
And Akkermansia is that one that you need to build a very good gut barrier, a mucus barrier to help things from, leaking out.
Fix the leaky gut, yes.
And in all honesty, that's what created your autoimmune syndrome. Because not just gut dysbiosis, but if you realize your gut is literally one cell thick of an endothelial lining.
Wow.
And you were missing the mucus as well, right? So you lost the mucus, you had holes all over your gut from eating gluten, which is not good for anybody, turns out, right? It increases zonulin in everybody, so everyone's going to at least have a transient opening. But you happen to be more sensitive, right? And that was making it worse. And there's gluten in almost everything.
It really is.
Sauces, marinades, glazes, you name it.
Yes.
And so you had this leaky gut syndrome, but really what it is, it's a permeable membrane, a permeable endothelial lining. And your endothelial lining is 600,000 miles in your entire body. And so when that happens, things don't move in and out of the cells that are supposed to move in and out. Things that are supposed to stay inside move outside. So all of that stuff that was supposed to stay in your gut was leaking out and presenting itself to these toll-like receptors that you have that line your endothelial lining, constantly supposedly scanning for foreign proteins. And so what they'll do is they'll send out the whole army. They'll send out, you name it, all the white blood cells and everything that causes inflammation and this constant irritation.
Right.
And now you wind up in this autoimmune spectrum because your body is so tired of fighting, it forgets what it's fighting, and it even starts to attack your own tissues.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to mention that the whole grains in this country happen to stick to the glycocalyx that lines the myelin sheaths of your nerve endings. And so that got damaged from the whole grains itself. And so now you left your nerve ending with germs probably going all the way up the vagus nerve, which is irritating it. Mm-hmm. Then the myelin sheath was probably getting destroyed from the glycocalyx being damaged, and that was making it more irritated. So our goal was to fix the endothelial lining.
Right.
But we couldn't do that without optimizing your health in other ways, like specific nutrients that you're deficient in.
Yes, which we found out was very deficient.
And two big deficiencies you had, B vitamins and vitamin D.
Yep. Right.
Your vitamin D was single digits. Single digits.
And what should it normally be?
It should be 55, 60.
Wow.
That's where we like it.
Yeah.
All the studies correlate anything over 45 in the 50-ish range if you have a good vitamin D level. Like very little autoimmune disease, they're directly correlated. I don't know if you know this, but a vitamin D deficiency by itself can cause autoimmune disease.
Wow. Okay.
Vitamin D is the only nutrient that your body makes. It makes vitamin D. It must be really important.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we're not making it. Everybody's low. And
right.
I think it has to do with, you need cholesterol, first of all, to make vitamin D. You had enough cholesterol. That wasn't really an issue for you. But it was the wrong kind of cholesterol from the seed oils and the box bagged and canned food, and not the right kind of cholesterol, which we adjusted with diet. But then you also need sunlight. And we're lathering all kinds of stuff on our body to protect ourselves from the sun because we were taught to.
Right.
And you need the right amount of oils on your skin. And most Americans in a standard American diet are, even if you try to eat healthy, are not getting omega-3s. They're just not getting the right. We weren't drinking olive oil way back then. No. You know? So we also, we didn't just fix your gut and control that germ, or SIBO is what you call it. So we did address that. We addressed that with antibiotics, right? Followed by antifungals, and then a whole gut repair. Yes. And it took weeks.
It did. It took weeks, but I'd say probably after 7 to 10 days or so, I was already starting to feel better. My joints were already starting to clear up, and the brain fog had gone away.
Isn't that crazy?
And I didn't notice anything with the hearing at that point yet, but it
takes a while.
It took a while, and to be honest with you, as part of that, you cleaned up my diet too, and we did the elimination diet initially.
Oh, we avoid the poison, the stuff that was causing the holes in the glycocalyx,
that was a big challenge. That was it was frustrating, but at the same time, and you did a good job explaining the importance of it and why we were doing it. And it clearly made a difference.
Yeah, eating a nutrient-rich diet is so important, but more important is avoiding the poison, because if you avoid the poison, you wouldn't need the antidote, right?
Right.
And that's hard for some people. And I know, if you eat a whole foods diet, it's easy to say. But then what if you go somewhere and you're in a hotel and there's nothing around?
Exactly.
I mean, you could go out to dinner, but by the time they throw the sauces, the marinades and glazes on it and put the bread on the table, you're like, now what do I eat?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that was really challenging for you, which is why at the time I hardly went anywhere and did anything while I was trying to heal myself, because it was difficult. I'm not going to lie, it's difficult.
Yes, it is.
But then we really restored the nutrients that you were missing with vitamins and nutraceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, believe it or not, were trying to heal your mitochondria, because the mitochondria inside the cell, if you can heal the mitochondria, then you can heal the cell and the cellular membrane. So we used a lot of things like, resveratrol and CoQ10
Yes.
and things like that. But more importantly, B vitamin deficiency, which is also what you had,
Mm-hmm.
was directly related to hearing loss. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Well.
So we gave you back the methylated B vitamins. We doubled up on your vitamin D. We were giving you like 10,000 units for 12 weeks. And then you went back down to the D3 with K2, 5,000, and you
Right.
maintain that now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What else did you notice about your vitamin D level? Now you associate it with, you had no idea that was why it was responsible for, but I'll let you share it.
Well, I had broken my leg, because I was
And that
probably...
was before or
That
after?
was right around the same time when I first started having my issues. And it makes me wonder if, the lack of vitamin D in my body
started
made
the
my
whole
bones
process.
weaken. Yeah.
And for most people, it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. The vitamin D is so important. It's not just an antimicrobial peptide, but it also helps heal the gut lining. It actually sits like the gut cells kind of look like fingers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or hairs.
Right.
And underneath at the follicle, they call the crypts. That's where the vitamin D is. And it's there to purposely heal the lining.
Mm-hmm.
So it does so many different things. It was just another piece of the missing puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was probably a couple months into this treatment that I started to notice just the hearing aid was getting loud. And it was becoming more and more uncomfortable to wear it throughout the day. And I also noticed when I didn't have it in, and it was always a test I did. I'd rub my fingers together just to make sure, I had hearing on this side still. I could hear my fingers rub together, but I was actually starting to hear it again on my left side. And
it was just so exciting. Gives me chills.
I was like, oh, that's odd. We can hear it again. I'm wondering if I'm getting my hearing back. And it just so happens about 4 months into this process, I had an annual hearing test. I have to go to the audiologist and get a hearing test done. And just small talk with the audiologist. I was telling her about how I had started this new diet and how I was doing an elimination diet and cutting out all these things. And I'm noticing that I think I may have gotten a little bit of my hearing back. She kind of scoffed and laughed and gave me the courtesy laugh, and we started the test. And the very first thing she said to me when she came back out of the booth was, okay, you have to tell me exactly what you've done.
Wow.
Because you have got a lot of your hearing back.
Wow.
And she showed me the chart and I didn't even think to bring the chart with me, but she showed me the chart of where I was.
Well, we could probably get it from you, and then we can put it up.
Absolutely. Of where my hearing was when I had gotten the hearing aid, how little hearing I had in my left ear, to where I was 4 months into the program.
That's crazy.
I had gained 60% of my hearing back in my left ear.
Crazy.
And
4 months.
I have
4 months?
4 months.
That's crazy.
4 months. So I have not worn the hearing aid since. Yeah. And I can have normal conversations now. The tinnitus is rarely there. It's
awesome.
great. Yeah, the pressure's gone, the tugging's gone. It's amazing.
And I think it's just going to keep getting better and better, better.
Yes.
And maybe we can revisit a few other things. I know we never did like a urine tox screen on you to test for heavy metals. It could be something.
Correct.
Because there are some heavy metals like lead, and mercury, especially with people that have been in the military. Their lead levels are high, and that's a neurotoxin.
Yes.
So is mercury. So we'll check into it.
Right.
Maybe that'll just get you through to the rest. And
I would love, I'd love to do those tests, the DNA testing too.
Oh yeah, huge, right?
Right.
Yeah.
To try to focus.
We didn't do the DNA testing on you in the beginning, but we were able to send some of your DNA patterns over to like LabCorp.
Right.
I think it was LabCorp, it was a Quest, whatever your insurance paid for.
Right.
And that was at least something immediate that we could do. So you didn't have to wait for that genetic testing. But yeah. So when we were talking before, you didn't really correlate any of the other symptoms that you were having to your ear loss, your hearing loss, right?
Right.
But now that going backwards and thinking back then, were you having other symptoms that now you know were connected, but you just didn't put the two and two together?
Well, overall, I think I was just I was unhappy. I was miserable. I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. I don't want to say I was depressed, but I was definitely cranky. I was,
I was depressed.
And I found myself snapping at times to my family members because they were telling me that I'm not answering them. And I guess subconsciously was just trying to make excuses, and I would get defensive and snap back at them. Yeah. So it's funny how just a simple thing of losing a little bit of a sense can make you miserable, cranky, and
waking up in the morning and not feeling so great and having to move around for a while before your head starts to clear is depressing enough.
Yes.
It really is. And then not being able to do the lawn very easily or get down and read. And I'm speaking for myself. I couldn't put in the work that Paul was putting in, my husband, for the house. And so I felt depressed. I felt a lack of the ability to be able to help out, like a sense of worthlessness almost. And I was clinically depressed. I was thinking about needing something or going on something because my whole body hurt.
Right.
Like my stomach was bloated, my head hurt, my whole body hurt, my joints hurt.
Yes. Yeah, and I had the exact same thing. And I even remember at times thinking that is this something where you start to develop dementia? Is this I actually felt that way. I felt like something wasn't right. And I felt like my memory was starting to go, and it's almost like your brain is trying to compensate and is so focused on trying to hear these things and stuff. You almost, and your brain's focused on that, you almost just stop tracking the other things that are going on and becoming very forgetful. I really was starting to question my longevity, and
I was almost thinking, is this what aging feels like?
Right.
And I remember having a conversation with somebody, but it wasn't until the 5th sentence that I realized what they said at the first sentence. And so my tracking capability was very poor. And cognitively, I must have looked, I was like, and I recognize this in some people when they're ill and they first come to see me, they're almost like in a daze. Mm-hmm. And they don't really retain anything I say. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, I talk over people and I use language that's not really understandable. That's why I have Macy to translate for me. Yeah. But the other piece of it is that I really know it's the brain fog.
Right.
It was a real problem. It was affecting my job. It was affecting my life. It was affecting my friends, my friendships, my relationship, everything.
The elimination diet really eliminated everything. So, I mean, any processed foods. For me, it was very specialized. I think we got rid of eggs. We got rid of dairy.
Because we did a food sensitivity test.
Right, food sensitivity test said those were things that were sensitive to me. Sugars and everything right now. So it was, for me, it was a pretty straight diet where I was eating pretty much the same thing every day. It was pulled chicken, sweet potatoes, leafy greens. It was, be honest, it's hard work. It was boring for the first 10 days there to really clean up my gut. But now I've opened up things, and with the sensitivity tests, I've realized what foods I do have to avoid and which ones so, I mean, I've opened things up a little bit, and where I'm eating rice, and my diet's still, I'm very regular, where in the morning,
and not for anything, but you look pretty physically fit.
I feel great.
It's not like you're emaciated or anything, so you're not like hungry.
No. And that's the funny thing is I'm eating a lot less now. And I'm not hungry in between meals, and I'm gaining. So it's like everything I was eating, all that crap that I was eating was just going right through, and nothing was being absorbed.
Yeah.
And I thought I was eating healthy. I've always been a person that thought they were eating healthy. I was having that big bowl of oatmeal every morning. Yeah. Come to find out, that was a big bowl of sugar and glyphosate, and so part of this is educating yourself, and from what you've told me, I've also read Dr. Guntry's book. I've read Dr. Hyman's book.
Love him.
Casey and Kelly Means read their book. And it's really opened my eyes as to what the food industry is doing to us. And
isn't that awful?
And the nice thing about these books is in the very back, they give you recipes for clean diets.
It's fun. But then you make up your own. Like, do you
Yes,
even use
yes.
the recipes anymore?
No,
Yeah,
no.
because now you know what to do, right?
We know what to
Same.
do, and yes, and hopefully my kids now are watching us eat this way, and they'll start to pick up
I'm
on
worried
this as
about
well.
our kids.
Yes, very much so. Well,
I'm worried
everything's
about
being
all
thrown
the
against
kids
them.
and all their friends
Yes.
who are being fed the wrong food at school, snack time, getting pretzels and pizza and popcorn that's filled with stuff and ice cream. And it's like everywhere they go, every time there's a birthday party, every time there's a sporting event, I'm mortified.
Yes.
My son's on the swim team. Your son and I play soccer together, right?
Right.
And people are bringing in Gatorade and crap pretzels and stuff for the kids to eat. And it breaks my heart because I know they think it's a treat and I know they think it's a good thing they're doing for the kids. But if they only knew, like now I view it as poison because it really is. It's really poison. And we're poisoning them at such an early age where you and I don't think we ate like that growing up, or at least my mom didn't.
But I don't think the foods were the same either.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you had more of a choice, you know, but now there's like very little to no choice. So I don't blame the parents at all. There's just literally no choice.
No, it's very
And they
tough.
don't know that Gatorade is poison.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the high fructose corn syrup, the dyes, it's there and it's in everything. Hopefully we're winning the battle on the dyes and those will slowly go away.
I really hope with this administration that things are taking good step. It sounds like they are. It looks like they are. Just hopefully they'll keep up the pace. You know,
a lot of work to do. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you telling your story. I felt like early on you were me when I was hearing some of the symptoms that you were telling me you had. I'm like, oh my God, Brian has SIBO. I had SIBO. I know exactly what this feels like. Trust me, you got to do this. And I was so excited to help you.
Well, yes.
So,
I'm
and
very
now,
appreciative.
Now I'm excited to get rid of the. What are you still experiencing? A little pressure occasionally? You said?
No, that's all gone. I was saying after the prednisone treatment, I still was experiencing, even though the vertigo had stopped. But,
anything left over? You feel like
you
said occasionally?
No, occasionally. So if I find myself getting stressed, if I drink a little too much coffee at work, if I don't get a good night's sleep, then I do wake up.
If you cheat a little on your diet, whatever.
And that's exactly that's one thing now is when you are eating healthy and you're getting clean and you're feeling so good, it's amazing how you find one of those trigger foods or trigger items. And how it really will make you feel yucky the next day.
I know. And I consider that a blessing.
Yeah, it's a good reminder,
okay, this is not good for you. And now you know it. Whereas before, I never really knew how bad I felt. You know what I mean?
It's almost like we're more sensitive to it now. I guess we just didn't have that we don't have that chronic exposure we had in the past. So we know what it feels like to feel good.
So I do the same thing that you do, Brian. I follow, because you know my story. For 10 years, I was a wreck. My whole body hurt. I woke up, brain fog, headache from my back all the way to the head, behind my eyes. I had this vasculitis. Turns out I had, Lyme and mold exposure and alpha-gal all at the same time. And that's probably, too long of an explanation for this podcast right now. But I had no idea it was all the foods and that my gut was broken. It took me going through the process of learning how to become a functional medicine practitioner to understand that I had SIBO. And then once I treated myself on day 7, I remember the day I woke up and my legs literally started to work again. Like they weren't heavy.
Yeah.
And so my husband and my son were playing soccer out in the front yard. And I said, oh, you guys are in trouble. My legs work. And from that day on, I've been able to play soccer with them. So like the big joke is like, oh, my legs work now. You guys are in trouble.
You got your life back.
Yeah. And I'm not hungry. Yeah. And I don't feel deprived by any means. And some of my friends will say to me, you got to live a little. And my answer is,
you got to live.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not just living a little, I'm living a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing all these things that you can't do because you're not feeling right because you're still eating the poison. So I feel compelled to try to get them to just understand it. But until they're ready, it's just not going to happen.
That's right. Yeah.
But I'm satiated too. I eat so much fat.
Yes.
Avocados and olive oil and dark green.
It's
amazing when you give your body the nutrients it needs, how you're no longer hungry.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And I eat a ton of protein.
Yeah.
Ton of protein. So.
Ton of protein, and that cholesterol is good.
Yeah, and that's
Imagine
very
that.
good cholesterol. My cholesterol's pretty good.
Yes.
You need cholesterol to make testosterone and vitamin D and for your brain. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny how that was so taboo for the longest time, and now it's.
Well, we're both runners.
Right.
So my first marathon, I think I was eating probably part skim, whatever, yogurt, plain yogurt, and skim milk, you know, and avoiding fat like the plague.
Yeah. Everything's got sugar in it too.
Right.
Those yogurts with sugar.
Than ever.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
It's my honor. Yeah.
Really, really appreciate this. And I hope that after hearing this, a lot of people will be able to see it's possible for them too, and they don't just give up.
Yes.
And there's quite a few people that I can think of at the top of my head right now that I hope that they make the step and the move, because they can see how something chronic can be no longer chronic.
Yes.
Just changed around.
Well, thank you. Thank you for what you've done for me. You've really given me my life back, and I'm very appreciative.
You're welcome. And it wasn't me, it was the process.
Yes, it was.